Good evening. Good evening. A little bit later than planned, but listen, you guys know we don't. I always put 8 o'clock ish. Um, you know how it rolls, guys. You know how this goes. Duke, talk to me.
Well, it's my fault. Hey, ever so professional. It just timed that perfectly, didn't it? In every sense of the word. Good evening. Cheers. Yeah, cheers. Off the green screen. Oh, well, listen, right. Absolute transparency, people, of the zero people in the chat. They don't care. I'm not going to tell them. There's no
They
one
might
here.
turn up later. Who
Well, I'll
knows?
tell you what. It's for the ones that are going to show up. There's a reason for
Oh,
my
hello,
wonderful background.
Mr. Burford. Long time no
Oh,
see.
good, G. Mr.
Where
Burford.
you
Good
been
evening.
hiding?
This is why I've got a green screen. My office is turned into like a changing room right now. Like seriously, it's turned into the wardrobe, and like it's embarrassing. Can I
Have
do?
you
Can I
found
use
that
this one?
your new abode, your pub, is a bit like a TARDIS in reverse? It's smaller on the inside than it is on the outside.
Mate, it's a bloody nightmare. I'm looking at this and I think this is great, and then I'm thinking, no, I can't be doing that. You know what? I'm just going to go none. Yeah, they can see the mess.
Ah,
Screw
Mr.
it.
Singleton, hope you're
Um,
well, and Mr. Chapman too. There you
yeah,
go.
no, listen, there's a bit of work that still needs to be done, and unfortunately, like I said, we had the darts team turn up this evening for
Yeah,
a bit of a competition, which
Phil
I'm
Taylor
entered in.
walked in. He's sort of rolling back the
Well,
years.
we got the women's and the men's darts teams in tonight. Well, a few of them, and
My money's on the ladies.
I've not thrown a dart in donkeys, Mister Rob, and
I've got a
I'm looking
dartboard
at my
on my
screen.
upstairs landing, and I haven't chucked any arrows for a little while. It has to be said.
Well,
Mind you, I was never
I've
much good.
actually been drawn. I've actually been drawn in the competition against my female member of staff. So
Oh.
the chances are, if I lose this, I'm not going to live this down. So
Mind you, that's no way to talk about your other half, my female member of staff.
no, this is the other one. She's up here looking after the kids. I'm going to be downstairs making an absolute fool of myself,
Oh,
to be honest. But
there
anyway,
you
we're
go.
not here to
Anyway,
talk about me losing to the
we're
ladies'
here.
dance team.
We're here to talk about a match that obviously unfolded yesterday at London Stadium. Duke, how much of it did you get to watch?
Well, thanks to my magnificent, my fantastic and magnificent, we've mixed it. I've had a few.
Yeah.
Um, thanks to my
Yes.
magnificent
Nice.
other half,
Yep.
she came back from Nando's, which
Double
is
H.
about 150 yards up the road. She came back to cover me, so I could sit down at the end of the bar,
Oh, she's a
um,
keeper.
a couple of beers in front of the TV, and I've got to say, Rob, I was impressed with what I saw. I've
Was you
got to say,
concerned
I
though when
was
you saw the lineup? And I know it was a
no.
bloody strong lineup, but did you sort of
Listen,
think, given that we've got a game against Norwich in a couple of days and
what
then Leeds again?
what did I say to you um, about 48 hours ago when we did this,
I know.
and you put up
I was
your Moyes
surprised.
expected Moyes lineup, and I
Hmm.
said to you, I'd rather see the lineup that you put up for the for our preview video against Norwich,
Yeah.
and see us go strong yesterday and on Saturday next
Hmm.
week. And my desires and my hopes were confirmed, for
Yeah.
want of a better word. He went all in yesterday. He
He
went
did, didn't he?
strong, as strong as strong could be expected, bar Sufal having COVID,
Well,
and
yeah. I was going to say it
obviously,
was probably the strongest team he could put out,
um,
all things considered.
and I've got to say I was over the moon to see
Sharky.
what I saw. As Sharky says there, I was buzzing. I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't see the lineup until probably about 30 seconds after kickoff,
Oh,
because I was running around like a blue ass fly.
yeah.
I didn't get to see it. We kicked off, and then I was like, shit, who's playing? So I brought the lineup up on my phone, and I was like, Jesus, he's gone. He's actually gone, and he obviously watched the video and he listened to me,
Yeah.
and,
I
and
think he
he
must have
realised
done.
that
Well, we
that's
we
what I
know
was.
we know someone in the club listens to us, Duke, Because, I mean, Dennis
Yeah.
Zakaria and Matthias Ginter, no one
You
mentioned
know,
them in dispatches. 5 minutes after the words came out of your mouth, boom.
listen, we know. Someone, I think it's Newman. I actually think Newman's on our subscribers list, and he's in there.
He could
Now,
well be.
but
I
have to
reckon Happy Hammerette is actually Rob Newman. What do you reckon?
I think he's better looking than Rob Newman. Like, just being honest. I mean, you know,
I reckon
she
Happy
looked like
Hammerette's
she
a
was.
pseudonym.
She looked like she was happy up at West Ham yesterday. God bless her. Looked like she had a good time.
She
Not quite
did.
sure. I mean, I'm pretty much sure, guaranteed that she would have had a better time in my pub yesterday if she decided to come here. But that's not the point.
If I'd have known, I'd have come up to meet him, but I didn't find out until afterwards, and I was already in my seat by then. So
yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not going to get too far ahead of ourselves. We're still talking about the lineup. I was happy. It was strong. It was decisive. I mean, I was on a bit of social media earlier, and I'm fully aware that some people were slandering Fredericks and Johnson as being championship fullbacks at
really, I haven't seen this.
Yeah, he was in one of the West Ham fan groups on Facebook, and he does have Spurs in his about info. So I kind of gave a little, okay, fair enough. I gave a little bit of stick.
How does that work? If he's playing for the youth team, he can't have COVID.
He may have had COVID and wasn't ready. He might have got his second. He might have got his second.
Because how long is the isolation now? I've got no idea. I've lost track of it.
I think it's 7 days, but they also do a thing where if you test negative on lateral flow tests 2 days running,
yeah,
you're out. It might be that he's obviously kept himself fit, and today was his second lateral flow negative, and obviously he's able then to
just the thought of it is
play tonight. So listen, it is what it is. We got away with it.
I think I had this conversation with you before, didn't I? I turned around and said that if I got COVID, and so far, touch wood, I've managed to avoid it. But if I got COVID and they turned around to me and said, give us a negative test on day 6 and day 7, and if you can't do that, you're off for the full 10 days, I'd turn around and say, stuff it, I'll have the full 10 days off. The thought of that thing touching the back of me throat and up me bugle, oh, Jesus. I've done it. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I haven't done it. I've done it a few times. It's absolutely horrendous.
It's not pleasant.
Yeah, I'd be like that. Poke it, literally.
I mean, listen. If I could have passed on it before I got my second negative on Christmas Eve, if I could have avoided it, I would have done so with all hands up. But it is what it is. But I mean, back to the team. I mean, listen. You got Fredericks and Johnson now. We listen. We knew what the centre back pairing was going to be for the most part if he was going strong, because
that's brutal.
Screw that. No, you're
right. I'd be like, my wife does as well, because she works in a school, and it's just
I'd quit, Happy. No. Actually, Happy, I'd quit anyway. I know you work for Happy. Just quit. Don't work from Happy. I've got a better option for you. It's called Craft Union. I was happy with that, and I'm going to rave shortly as we go further through this and we start the first half. Go to the end of that and hit the second half with everything we've got. I'm going to rave about 3 players. I am going to rant about one to a degree.
I think I know who it might be.
About one. And
are these all in claret and blue though?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's 3 players that I'm going to literally sing their names from the rooftops. One, I'm going to shout his name and go, and the others, I'm going to wax lyrical over because they did enough to, they were good yesterday. But there were 4 players, 3 that I want to really sing out in their praises, and one that I'm going to get really pissed off with to a degree.
Okay.
Not in a bad way. It's just a couple of little things I noticed yesterday that I spoke to a couple of Millwall fans actually that were in the pub yesterday for the West Ham game. I don't know why. But we had a discussion about this gentleman and what he did, and they were laughing because I was getting so frustrated with it.
Fair enough. So who are you gonna sort of like tell us a little bit later on, or do you want to get it off your chest now? Who the players?
Listen, if you want to go first up, we'll go first up, shall we?
Go for it. You know
well,
the rules. We don't have a script. Let's just fly by the seat of our pants, mate. Same as always.
Happy is pretty much named my man of the match.
Yep.
Right there. I mean, I thought he was, well, like my God, Rob. Like, he was brilliant yesterday.
Do you think that he's starting to show that he's getting a little bit more pace about him? Do you think he's starting to get a little bit closer to the Lanzini of old?
The confidence back, Rob. I think he's had games where he's been able to open up a little bit with regards to his pace. Yep. Now, I suffered a serious knee injury years ago, and I know what it's like not in the I say the early stages. The next year of wanting to open up and go full tilt, because you're worried. You know, that first tackle, the first twist, the first turn. At first, the studs get caught in the ground and shit. Is this it? And I feel Lanzini has probably suffered with that more than most over the last 12 months.
Yeah.
Comments backwards and forwards in me and my mates, the boys' chat, was that Lanzini yesterday is almost, not quite there yet, but he's almost at the player that Messi was looking forward to playing alongside.
Yep.
In the World Cup. For me, everything good that West Ham did until he came off,
yep,
I felt personally, and again, others might disagree, and that's fine. I felt came through our little Argentinian diamond. I thought he was absolutely phenomenal, and I was messaging backwards and forwards with Steve 50 yesterday, and I just think that Lanzini yesterday, I mean, I had love hearts in my eyes. He was absolutely amazing. I just had that. Everything he did, everything, Rob, was just almost perfection.
Yeah.
Almost perfection. It was absolutely outstanding. And I just think he's back. And I really think, you know, those attacking midfield three, and then the other two I want to talk about. Vlasic, you know, people are banging on about a £30 million price tag. You know what? He keeps this shit up. It's going to be a £30 million price tag.
But it's not a £30 million price tag, is it?
No. It will be.
27 million is what I've been told.
Well, yeah, 27 million. It's the add-ons. It's goals scored. It's qualifying for Europe. It's games played.
It's 17 million as things stand right now.
Yeah, but he's going to be. Listen, he carries on doing what he's doing. It's going to cost us 27 million because he's going to score goals because he's getting into positions where the goals are going to come. I felt he should have taken his shot earlier on our first goal yesterday when Lanzini scored. I think Vlasic. I think there was a little bit of a dilly-dally which allowed the debutant Leeds player to get back and make a relatively good block. Obviously, then the ball runs free. And I actually felt it was going to be called offside. I'm not going to lie. I actually thought that was coming. But then that being said, I watched the replays about 407 times, just like the officials did. And Vlasic actually gets the touch that knocks it away from the goalkeeper, which then means that Bowen's clattering of the goalkeeper isn't a relative problem in the whole setup.
Yeah.
Vlasic had already kicked the ball away from Marcelo's hands, which means Matillier is now out of the equation, which means Bowen clattering in really doesn't affect the goal. So, I was sitting there going, I thought Bowen was offside. I watched the replays. Vasic actually touches the ball out of, or just before Matillier gets his hands on it. It rolls away. Lanzini does what Lanzini does, and we're 1-0 up. And I was looking at it going, you know what? I'm really disappointed in Vlasic for not taking an earlier shot, but we've got the goal, so I can't argue. But Vlasic grew stronger and stronger and stronger as the game went on. I thought he was, again, I felt Lanzini should have been man of the match. But I can't deny the fact that Vlasic's got it. Like, do you see what I mean? I thought Vlasic had a cracking game. He really did.
I'm going to slightly disagree. I agree with what Ian said. I think that Vlasic, for me, shaded it. But that's not to say that Lanzini didn't have an excellent game, because he did.
Yeah.
But I thought that Vlasic is starting to look the player that, we hope he's going to be. Like I say, if the final bill will be 27 mil, then obviously we have a certain expectation of what he's going to bring to the table as West Ham fans. And I think that and I said it for a little while, I said, we've got to give this kid a bit of time. It's going to be a little bit like Benrahma last season. He's had to have that first season to fully bed in and to get used to the David Moyes style of playing football and what's required of him offensively, defensively, when we're in possession, when we're out of possession, all of the rest of it. And I feel that the same with Vlasic. I think that this season, to a point, was going to have to be, you're going to have to give him a little bit of leeway. And I think he's starting to come good, and his confidence, you can see he's looks like he's just a confidence player. And it looks like now he got that goal against Watford. His performances he's getting more minutes in the team. He's getting starts now. Obviously, Benrahma going to the AFCON gives him the opportunity to really grab the starting position in the team. And as and when Benrahma comes back, it's a nice little problem that David Moyes has got. If when Benrahma comes back, hopefully he comes back, he's had a good tournament and his confidence is sky high. All of the players in that front three are still sort of like in good form, in good health and all the rest of it. And who knows, maybe even that we've made a signing or two in that area, Lingard or whoever. And it's a nice little problem that David Moyes could have at that stage, fingers crossed.
Yeah, I mean, listen, for me, unless Benrahma has an absolute well-beater at the AFCON, I honestly think he's possibly going to have a bit of a nightmare. Come back to that. Don't worry about that. Actually, I've started a couple of messages, Rob, I want to come back to.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think Benrahma may have a bit of a struggle to come back, unless he has an absolute blinder at the AFCON, which makes him undroppable. I think he might have trouble coming back.
Yeah.
Because
which is good. That's what you want.
Oh, listen, Vlasic right now is on fire, and I am loving life with Vlasic. I've said many times, I just think he needs a bit of bedding time. I think he needs a bit of a doobie, not a doobie, not like that. I think he needed a bit of time to get in, and he's got in there, and I just think he's working. And I tell you what, I think Lanzini helps. I really think Lanzini helps with the way that Vlasic plays. Vlasic, his link-up play with Lanzini yesterday was something else. And Bowen, again, as I said, I want to talk about the midfield three, and they're the three that I'm really going to rave and whack. Oh, mate, Bowen yesterday again. I watched some bits on Sky Sports and everything else, and obviously his name is being batted around for an England call-up, and I don't think there's anyone more deserving of an England call-up right now than Jarrod Bowen. I thought he was again. this shows you the quality of those attacking midfield three. Was that Bowen had an absolutely exceptional game and was probably third on the list to be called man of the match.
Yeah,
Despite the fact he had a absolute blinder, he's still third on the pecking order.
yeah,
That shows you how good, in my opinion, the other two were. Others might put Bowen at second and Lanzini at third, or
yeah.
Vlasic, however they want to work it, and that's fine. That's fine. But for me, it went in the order, and it was very, very close. We're talking, absolutely nothing between Lanzini, Vlasic, and Bowen in that order for me. And it could be rotated, any which way. One thing that frustrated me, Rob,
Mm.
and here we go. This is where I'm going to be, and this was the conversation I had with a couple of Millwall fans that were in the pub.
Yeah.
Who's their centre forward?
Who's their centre forward?
Our centre forward.
Michael Antonio.
On that screen, right? Okay. So tell me who he's crossing into when he goes out wide left or right, wide right, and puts the ball into the box. Where I want my centre forward to be, which is where Antonio would be on the receiving end of that cross.
I thought he had a good game, though, Antonio.
Listen, again, fourth on my man of the match. I'm not going to lie to you. Fourth on my man of the match.
Yeah.
I think he played some really good football, but I just got frustrated that my centre forward was on his own accord, not necessarily being dragged out wide by the way we were playing. He was willingly going left and right and then putting some absolutely outstanding crosses into the box. I mean, he was on. Do you give him the assist for the Lanzini goal? Because he was the one that put it to Vlasic. And listen, he started that move that got the Lanzini goal. Let's go that way. He then put, and it was a great ball, by the way, great hold-up play. I do believe I counted 682,426 step overs before he put the ball into the box, all of which were very much broadcast. They were so slow that anyone watching could have just gone in, picked the ball up, gone off for half time, come back, and he'd still be doing step overs on fresh air. But again, unselfish for Antonio. He was pulling out wide, he was doing this, that, and the other. But I just wish that if on a couple of occasions his crosses were perfect for him. He should have been the one on the receiving end of his own crosses. If Vlasic, Bowen, Lanzini could have put those crosses in and he'd been the one in the box, he would have been able to outmuscle that defender. I know that he put one in and Bowen was about, 3 stud lengths away.
Is that your internet that's dropped out or is it mine? Oh. Now, either Duke's frozen and his internet's dicking around or I've dropped out. I don't know if anyone's in the live chat, if anyone can hear me. Could you just let me know whether he's dropped out or whether I've gone? I've got a funny feeling it might be, given this comment, it might be that I'm here on my own and Duke has frozen. Either that or I'm talking to no one. But it does... yeah, okay. Oh, no. Oh, dear, yeah, exactly that, Ian. Once a winger, always a winger. I was going to go on to say to Duke whether when he comes back, whether he was possibly... Oh, hang on. There he is. Hang on. Or is he? Oh, you're back?
Fucking pub Wi-Fi.
That's on your to-do list, is it, to sort of get it all, get that all sorted out?
Oh, trust me, mate. Trust me. The second I can get off of pub Wi-Fi and start going back to normal Wi-Fi, I'm going to be over the moon. Thank you, Happy. Thank you. Don't listen. Be nice. Anyway, yeah, I just felt that Antonio would have bullied the players that he was putting the crosses in for.
Do you think he was anticipating maybe Thomas Souček making a marauding foray forwards into the box?
Yes, maybe. But I want him to be in there. I want.
Yeah.
I'd love to. Yeah, there probably is, mate. Actually saying that. I yeah, I want
All
him to be the
downloading
one in the
porn.
box. I'm not.
No.
They're
All the people
rumours.
in the alley.
Oh, the people are. Woo. But you caught out my little secret. I don't have to download it. I just anyway.
There's ladies in the chat.
There are. Where?
Well, I say that. I'm not sure.
Happy behaviour. Listen, you get me in trouble, girl. I tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wish Antonio was on the receiving end of his own crosses, and that's my
Yeah.
only gripe for yesterday.
Fair
Well,
enough.
and that and Masuaku came on, but that's my only gripe for yesterday is that he wasn't on the receiving end of his own crosses. I personally thought he had the team had a absolutely
Kieran.
dominant performance yesterday. I thought we controlled the game. I didn't think it looked out of this. See, Trudge knows.
Yep.
I personally think that we dominated from start to finish. I thought it was a almost
Agreed.
complete performance. Your feelings, Rob? Obviously, you were there yesterday, were you? Yeah. So you
Yep.
know
No,
you
I'm
saw
in
it.
complete
You saw
agreement.
it close up.
I think we
Yeah.
controlled it. I think that, Leeds, to be fair to them, they brought noisy support.
Yeah.
They were behind their team. Whatever I think about some of the shenanigans I've heard that went on around that is another story. But as far as their support for the team during the match is concerned, it was good support. I think it was 9,000. I was told they brought down from Yorkshire.
Bloody hell.
They obviously had a lot of problems with injuries and suspensions and this, that, and the other, one thing and another. And that, as you can see, there is the team that they kicked out. And yeah, there's a lot of names there that you're sort of looking at. And as a West Ham fan, I'm not an expert on the squad at Leeds United, but names like Hielda and Greenwood, I'm looking at and going, oh, okay. But that's not our problem. That's their problem. We've got to beat the team that's
You
in
can only
front of
play
us.
what's in
And
front
I
of you,
thought,
can't you?
yeah, and I thought we controlled it. I thought there were little pockets of play that we dominated, and the rest of it we more or less controlled the tempo of the match. And the moment that Lanzini scored, I didn't really see us from that point on going on and not getting through into the fourth round. And yes, I was going to touch on that actually, because I was watching him and I just think he's a slightly younger version of Arthur Masuaku, and I think we've dodged a bullet there. I do. I seriously think we've dodged a bullet there, because I don't think that there was anything that I saw yesterday or anything that I've seen in little bits and pieces during the course of this season when I've seen Leeds. I don't think I've seen anything that makes me think, oh, we missed out on a player there. Quite the contrary. I'm like, we would have had two Arthur Masuakus in the squad. No thanks. So,
Listen,
but was there any Leeds players that stood out for you, Duke?
Yeah, the one that always does, and I say he always does, and I kind of wish, and I do believe we missed the boat when he went to Leeds earlier in the season, and that's Dan James. I've got a lot of time for Dan James. I really have. He's got pace. He's a natural out there, and I just, honest to God, I really do feel we missed a trick on bringing that boy over. I really do. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. Other than Firpo, I have to say Harrison caught my attention out there.
Yep.
I don't think he had a bad game. In fact, I'd like to say I don't think, other than Firpo, to be fair, I don't think any of the Leeds players had a bad game. I think we were just very, very dominant at times, So, but no, I mean, listen, if we could have got Dan James in the summer, I would have been buzzing.
Yeah. They're the subs as well, just to sort of get them up. Correct me if I'm wrong. David Moyes, even though he can use 5 substitutes in the Premier League and the FA Cup and all that, It's very rare that he actually does, isn't it? I mean, he's still sort of like he just makes 3 subs. And I'm sitting there going, well, you got a game in a couple of days. Why don't you sort of shuffle the pack a little bit more? I do wonder whether this lack of squad rotation, I do wonder if it's going to catch up with us at some point.
With regards to injuries?
I mean, obviously it didn't yesterday. You could turn around and say, as far as yesterday is concerned, job done. But I'm just thinking sort of like, as we go deeper into the season, going through the Europa League starting back up, if we make a little bit of a run in the FA Cup, Easter programme, back end of the season, it gets a bit attritional. And I'm just wondering if at some point...
Go on.
No, I'm just wondering if at some point it's just going to accumulate miles on the clock with certain players. I mean, we've said at times during the course of this season, there's been certain players at times that have looked a bit leggy, Thomas Souček being a prime example. And I'm just wondering if at some point it's going to catch up on us.
How can we say the same could be said there, mate, for any team in the Premier League, really? I mean, listen, managers have their preferred lineup. Managers have their preferred players. I mean, listen, you're telling me that Ranić is a Cristiano Ronaldo fan right now, or a Bruno Fernandes fan right now? He's not.
Yeah, that is true, Fresh. I thought that was a ridiculous substitution. I think he came on and he lasted about 20 seconds before the whistle went. It was like, what was the point?
Well, he was warming up to come on before...
He gets a win bonus, I suppose.
Yeah. Oh, listen, if you're in, you're buzzing, right? Let's not dick around. Listen, I'm of the mind that I'm where Moyes is right now. Ranić right now is sitting in a team. As Happy's just reminded me where I was at. Ranić's sitting there with a team right now that I think he's lost the dressing room. A bit like Ole, I don't think he's got control of that shit right now.
But how are you going to have control of a dressing room when the people that are in the dressing room with you know that in a couple of months you're going to be buggering off anyway? So
it's not even that,
really weird move.
It's a respect thing, and right now he's fighting against the players that believe Ronaldo should be playing, and he's fighting against the players that believe Ronaldo shouldn't be. Listen, are you telling me? And I go back to my initial videos when we spoke about this. Are you telling me Ronaldo is there for any other reason than for merchandising aspect?
But then you could say that to any club that he's been to probably since he left Old Trafford the first time round.
No, because I'm telling you now, when he went to Juventus, I think he was still top scorer in Serie A. He won about 27,000 trophies and medals while he was at Real Madrid because he was still a good player. And I'm not saying he's not a good player right now. Who's the outgoing guy?
If he was chocolate, he'd eat himself, though, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would, without a doubt. Is it Woodward, the outgoing guy at United?
Yeah, Ed Woodward. Not to be confused with Ed Woodward, the equaliser.
That was Michael Caine, wasn't it? No,
that was the equaliser, wasn't it? Edward Woodward.
Yeah, it was Edward Woodward. Yeah, sorry. Did Michael Caine play him in the film?
No, wasn't it Denzel Washington or someone like that?
It might have been. You're right. I think you're right.
I mean, to be fair, Michael Caine and Denzel Washington do look an awful lot alike.
You're going to fall out, Mr. Gates. You carry on. I want to like you, but you're winding me up.
It's only banter. What's the matter with you?
Speaking of which, you know what I've starred. That's why you pulled that shit out, didn't you?
I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean.
Now, I found in the corner of my room, a la the starred messages a hornet's nest, Mr. Rob. And if you don't mind,
Crack on.
I'd like to stir said hornet's nest, if I may.
You
grab it.
just
Grab
before
it
you
and
do, let's just have a look at that. Just before you do.
Oh, because this feeds into my comment.
I know.
This feeds into my comment. Listen, I said, and let's go. The guys watching, there's 18 of you. You can go back and you can watch my previous comments on this. Okay, I said give this man time.
Mm-hmm.
I said that Vlasic finds himself in a situation where Ben Rama was last year. Vlasic is in a situation where Ben Rama, Bowen, Fornals, Lanzini, whichever you want to be, are ahead of him in the lineup. Very much like Ben Rama found himself behind a pecking order of Fornals, Lingard, and Bowen last season. Vlasic finds himself there now, and you can go back and Rob, you'll corroborate this. Yep. I said give him time, didn't I? Yeah, I said he was in that situation now. Jordan, I don't think Jordan's still in the chat right now, but he was having a little conversation with Happy.
Are you still there, Jordan?
Earlier on in the chat, and he says the day's banter was a nightmare a while back. He said,
what's that all about?
I've
got no idea. I'm not playing dumb.
No. I don't know what's gone on. I don't know what's gone on over there, and whatever's gone on between Steve and the other corroborators on that show. I don't know. I've seen certain news articles that have been bandied around. The West Ham Facebook and Twitter sites, etc. Right. I'm not here to make comments on those. What I will say is, he said that obviously on the show that people were saying that Vlasic was rubbish, and that Jordan is glad that he's proven him wrong.
That's what Happy's just said.
Yeah, that Vlasic thinks is crap. But that's what. Listen, that's Dayer's opinion. Dayer's more than welcome to that. I'm not gonna single Dayer out on that. He said
sorry,
that. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I just pressed the button. Sorry.
No, it's all right. I'll go read. I'll show you again. He's always moaning that he's saying there he needs to get enough starts to prove himself, etc., etc. Listen, right. This comes from the same guy that said we were signing about 47 players and that his videos they were done deals. And quite clearly they weren't. Anyway, I went on Dayer's show to defend my stance on Ben Rama, and I had a show with James Fever, as anyone knows. Me and Fever had a little bit of a to-do over Ben Rama last season, especially at the end of the Burnley game. Sorry, Rob. And I went on to defend. Now, this I cannot defend. This I cannot defend.
Yeah, that's
what?
That's crossing the line.
If Dayer is getting phone calls, etc., if people are making allegations against Dayer about his private life, whatever, then these people are fucking wrong-uns, and they fuck off. We're lucky, Rob. We haven't had any of this bullshit yet. Do you know what I mean? It will come, as I guarantee you that Gio and Gonzo over at the chat have had trolls and whatnot, and the guys over at the West Ham Network, Russ and the boys, Stel and Anton, they've all had that shit, and the boys over at West Ham Fan TV, Nicky and the boys, they're guaranteed that they've all dealt with trolls in their own whatever way, and as Happy says, yeah, you know what, people love the drama, and it is what it is, but you don't bring your personal, don't bring people's personal lives into it. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say that I've been 100% squeaky clean in my lifetime, but I wouldn't expect people to bring my personal life into this, because that's not what this is about. The abuse that Daz received from people, like you say, phoning, texting, if the allegations are unfounded, there's no need for it, and I listen. Dare and I don't see eye to eye because I've called him out a couple of times and he didn't enjoy it. But that's part and parcel of what goes on these channels. You know,
Mhm.
if you can't corroborate something and I'm going to call you out on it, don't get the ump. Hold your hands up. You know, if someone comes to me and says, "Dude, you're talking shit," give me proof. I'll hold my hands up and go, "All right, touche." You know, it's great. I'm here for all channels West Ham. You know, I've caught up on a lot of the stuff that Chris is doing over at Leicester City. You know, he's been on here a few times, and I've
Yep.
got a lot of time for that. Um, you know, we had the guys over from the Wolves channel, Rob.
Hmm.
And I watched a couple of their bits and pieces over the last few weeks when I've been working and stuff, and it's enjoyable to watch. And for me, we should all be supporting each other on these channels. You know,
Agreed.
I don't see I don't see where the benefit would come of me sitting here and going the day's bank is a shit show because I know it's not. I know it's not.
Hmm.
And if I've got a personal beef with Daya, I'm not going to attack his show. I'm going to sit down and have it. Cheers, Happy. Love you too, babe. I'm going to sit down and have a conversation with Steve. You know what I mean? It's the same as, Jake and everyone else in the West Ham channels. You know, we're going to sit down, we're going to have a conversation because at the end of the day, we all want what's best for us at our own channels and essentially for West Ham, right?
Hmm.
That's all it boils down to. We're here for our love of West Ham. That's it.
Yeah.
So, I get. I certainly sit. I will sit here now, and I will condone. Not no, not. I will absolutely battle anyone that wants to sit there and slag off another West Ham channel. If you've got any problem with any other West Ham channel, if you've got any problem with our channel, come and talk to me. Let's have a chat. Because I don't mean threatening way. I understand that and just come and have a chat. Come on, yeah, I'm not Danny Dyer.
In
I'm
the
not doing
car
that shit.
park.
Come and have, let's have a conversation. Let's get out
Yeah.
in the car park. Let's have a cellar chat. Come on, let's go. No, that's not how it works. You know what I mean? But I just, as Happy says there, we're all here for the Hammers content. You know what? Listen, I've made, and Rob, I think you'll agree with me, and I've kind
Hmm.
of taken this off tangent massively, I have to say. Yeah, no, thanks. You ain't got to agree. Cheers, mate. I've made a lot of
I
friends off
didn't
the
say
back
a
of this
word. I just
alongside
chuckled to
Rob. You know,
myself.
hmm hmm we've made a lot of friends off the back of this, and it's been amazing.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Agreed.
And I just hope it continues. You know, we're in that West Ham YouTube massive chat that pings every like 27 seconds. It's happy with her pictures of Lanzini and stuff, but
I know.
I mean, you know what I mean? She ain't nobody like Lanzini, and that
I
right,
tell you,
Happy?
if he turned up on her doorstep, I don't know what she'd become over all unnecessary. I reckon.
Oh, you mean
No,
Lanzini? I thought you meant. I
Lanzini
thought you meant
on.
me. Sorry. All
No,
right.
oh no, she'd probably just look you up and down and go, yes,
Slam
and
the door in my face. Pissed off. No, she'd
she'd
ask
probably
where her
think you're sort of like delivering
delivery
for
order
Amazon or
was.
something.
I've rocked up with a Deliveroo at, a
Yeah,
KFC or something on it.
I was told she was vegan.
Ah, well, bag off then. No. We're going to have to ban her from the. If she's vegan, mate, I ain't listening to that story. They love to tell you vegans, don't they, that they're vegan?
They
They love
do,
to.
don't they? They love to. They get
Oh, yeah?
quite evangelical about the fact they don't eat
Yes, if
animal
you want to come in.
products. So,
Hang on.
who's that?
Give me a second. It's Joe telling me she doesn't want to be on camera, so let me do this. You can come
Oh,
in there. I'll
oh,
stop camera. You can come in. She's got to get Logan's clothes for bed or for school tomorrow.
See, this what
Oh, look, you're
happens.
on camera. Woo!
You're
Cheers,
evil,
Sarah.
Duke. You're evil.
Joe, wait, look, Rob's saying hello. She's waved. Look,
Hi,
I'm going to turn
Joe.
the camera off now. She's probably going to punch me in the face after this is finished, but never
I
mind.
don't think there's a probably about it.
Can we talk about who we got in the next round before we leave?
We can. We got the mighty Kidderminster, who we played in. Was it the 5th round?
94?
In 94. I've got a vague recollection of Lee Chapman getting the winner, or the only goal, as it turned out.
Was it Chapman? I know.
I'm sure it was
Kenny
Chapman.
said something. I'm
Yeah,
gonna have to have a look.
header, if I
You might
remember
be right.
rightly. And then we went on to play Luton, if I remember correctly, in the 6th round or the quarterfinals, if you prefer. And we lost. Scott Oakes got a hat trick. I remember Steve Potts making a little bit of a Horlicks of something, and it basically led to the decisive goal. And yeah, and then of course Luton went to Wembley to play in a cup semi-final against Chelsea, which they went on and lost. And then Chelsea went to the final, which they went on and lost to Man United. So, but I'd like to. I don't know. I think they're about 6,000 capacity ground. So what do we? Do we get 10% or something like that?
I
No, it's
mean, I
more
was
than that, isn't it?
talking to someone today in the pub, Rob, right?
Hmm.
And I asked the question of do you
Yeah,
there?
National North.
Do they still give them the option to
No, no,
what was I
you
going to
can't.
say?
They
What
can't.
was it?
They can't. They can't reverse the tie. They can't
No.
play it at London Stadium to get
See,
a
I think
bigger.
that's bollocks. I think that's bollocks. Why not?
Yeah,
That's
they
part of
used
the
to be
magic
able
of the
to.
FA Cup. I'm
They
not being
used to be
funny.
able to, because it happened a couple of times with us, didn't we? I think it was Farnborough we played.
Emily
Farnborough and
Town.
Aldershot, if I remember correctly.
I think
Oh, it's
Emily Town had a
15%.
part of it. I think Emily Town had a part of it as well. I think did
Yeah.
Joe Cole play in that game against Emily Town? Did
I don't
Julian
know if
Dix
he
score
was
the
in
winner
that
from
game.
about 110 yards out?
Gets
I
further every time.
it does. It was a great goal. I don't see why. Why not? Why not give Emily? Fuck me, it's not Emily. Why not give Kidderminster the shot at playing at the London Stadium and saying to them, "Here's the gate receipts." Because I'm not being funny. That would keep that team going for probably about another 27 years.
You're saying that
The
now, but if they
chairman would
went
be
and beat
sitting there
us,
going, "No, part of the magic of the FA Cup, Rob. Part of the magic.
yeah,
That's where I'm at. For me,
yeah. But then again, they never did
Ken
it back
commented
in the
earlier, and
old
Ken
days,
will
did
probably
they?
watch this back at some point.
They never did it in the 70s. I don't ever remember in the 70s and
What do you
80s
mean?
ties being reversed. It seemed to be something that came in
Well,
vogue
you were
in the
alive,
sort of
so
like
you
the
tell
early
me.
90s.
You started this shit. Don't listen. Don't start. Don't give me the finger. Right. I have to say, I'm still on. I have to say that go squeezing out a camera shot. I have to say, I see. For me, it's football playing darts. For me, the FA Cup is the greatest competition, cup competition, whatever. I remember growing up back in the 80s, out on the school field at lunchtime. The 90s in senior school, again out on the field at lunchtime, pretending like you were playing at Wembley and scoring the winner in an FA Cup final. That for me was what I grew up on.
Yeah.
Wanted to be the hero of a West Ham game that you score in the FA Cup final at Wembley. Nowadays, and again, someone made a comment on Kent, or even Kent made the comment himself on a comment further down where he says nowadays kids want to score in the Champions League final,
Yep.
rather than the FA Cup, and I
Yep.
find that quite sad. The FA Cup for me always has been and always will be the crown jewel in the British football calendar. The FA Cup final on what used to be, now correct me if I'm wrong, in and around May the 14th, there or thereabouts, or the Saturday closest to, either before or after. It was always a day occasion. You woke up in the morning and BBC's coverage of the FA Cup probably started between 11 and 12, and it was the only thing that was on. You saw the players arriving at the stadium. You saw Liverpool walk out onto the pitch in their white suits, looking like they were members of the Backstreet Boys or some shit.
Yeah.
Um, it would, for me, the FA Cup has always been the crown jewel, and I love the FA Cup. I
Yeah.
love all the romanticism around it. I watched Cambridge beat Newcastle on Saturday, and Newcastle had every opportunity to score about 15, 16 goals in that game, and the Cambridge goalkeeper was probably the game of his life. He could probably retire and give after dinner speeches based on that one game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go and nick one. I believe it was right at the end, and for me, magic of the FA Cup. Morecambe 1-0 up against a Spurs side that ended up having to get out of an absolute nightmare situation. Magic of the FA Cup. Liverpool losing 1-0 to Shrewsbury. Magic, right? Magic of the FA Cup. That's what it's about. That's what it needs to be about. Forest against Arsenal. Thank you, Sharky. Forest against Arsenal. Magic of the FA Cup. Listen, I enjoyed watching us on telly yesterday. Loved watching us on telly yesterday. I couldn't get to the ground. It is what it is. But personally, I would have rather have seen Morecambe and Spurs on telly because Morecambe get the money for that.
Do you know why the FA Cup's lost a bit of its magic?
Go on.
You can trace it all back 20 odd years ago when Manchester United, the defending champions, didn't defend their crown. That was the start.
When they decided to piss off the World Cup, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the start of it. When you can have the defending champions not defend their crown, which is a tradition that's gone back at that point 130 odd years. It's now 150 odd. The moment that you allow that situation to unfold, the writing's on the wall. The other reason is purely that. Do you know how much the winners of the FA Cup get?
Bugger all in the grand scheme of things.
Well, of course, I'm looking here, and this is in
I'd say 1.2
US dollars. So I don't know what the conversion is, but it's 2.4 million US dollars.
It's about, I'd say it's probably about 1.9 to 2.
Okay. Champions League winners get 56 million sterling.
Yeah, there it is.
And 38 million sterling for the Premier League winners.
Yeah, see, there it is.
There's your problem. The big clubs don't take it as seriously as they otherwise might. And I know people would point and say, yeah, but look at the last however many winners. It's usually one of the top 6 clubs. Yes, that's true. But when you look at the teams that they put out, they're not the full strength team that they would put out if it was a Premier League title decider. It just isn't.
No, and it's the same as the League Cup, though, Rob. I mean, listen, I as a West Ham fan, I am so starved of a trophy right now that I'd listen. I'm pissed off we went out to the League Cup against Spuds, but I'd love a League Cup. I'd love a League Cup. I'd love a trophy in the cabinet. But I look at the likes of Arsenal for many years, playing the kids through the early rounds, through the quarterfinal, semi-final. Get to the final and go, shit, we've got to use the big boys. And the kids are going, yeah, but we got you here. You know what I mean? The kids got them to the final, and then Wenger's going, no, here we go, first full team out, let's go. It's a chance of a trophy. Yeah, but you didn't take it seriously in the earlier rounds, and you allowed your kids to play. If I was one of the kids, I'd be mightily pissed off. Yeah, on the flip side to that, I also find it disrespectful that against a side like Kidderminster, that you're going to play the likes in West Ham's case, and I'm not going to say we're going to do this, but in West Ham's case, we'd turn up with, let's say, for instance sakes, players out on loan, whatever, I don't know, but, Nathan Trott in goal, Ashby, Alessi, along Gallo, Baptiste, Akinola, all the rest, Vernon Park, all the rest of these guys. I'm going back a few years as well with these names playing Football Manager. That we're putting out all the kids to play against Kidderminster. Like, we're going to send the under-23s down there to get us through the next round of the FA Cup, which in theory should be good enough to do so. But Rob, you and I saw the
Yeah, I don't think.
under-23s at Northfleet, weren't good
Yes.
enough. But here we are. That'd be a complete disrespect to Kidderminster if we rocked up with our under-23 team.
I wouldn't be surprised if Moyes maybe took the opportunity to maybe give maybe a Harrison Ashby a go.
Enough.
But I wouldn't expect him to go full on.
Yeah.
So,
three or four youngsters with 6 or 7 experienced players in there, then yes.
So what they got about? I think they got about 6,000 capacity stadium, and it was someone put in the chat a little bit earlier. Just going to wind back. I think it might have been. No, it was Ian. So you get 15% of the gate, so 6,000. So that's to be about 900. 900 tickets we're going to get there or thereabouts, if my maths is correct.
Which, in the grand scheme of things, isn't great.
I don't think I'm going to get a chance. I don't think I've got a prayer, quite frankly.
But again, this is a game that I hope's on TV, Rob, because there's the magic of the FA Cup involved.
Yes. I mean, be nice, but I think if it does go on the telly, I dare say the TV companies are hoping for a giant killing.
Oh, listen, to a degree, I'd love a giant killing.
If it was any other team.
Don't get me wrong, it's against us, and I'm not going to be overly happy with that. Yeah. But again, I'd love a giant killing just because it's the magic of the FA Cup, and it's what I love. It's what I enjoy about the competition itself. Again, I saw it last night. Listen, Forest for me dominated that game. I watched that game for the most part, and I felt Forest dominated. I thought they were really good, and they were deserved winners. You saw the game. Was it Reading? Barrow Reading?
No, it was Kidderminster.
Kidderminster Reading. Who did Barrow play? Burnley?
Barrow.
No. Barrow played a game. I saw the highlights on my Twitter feed. Who played Reading? Was it Kidderminster played Reading?
That was Kidderminster Reading, yeah.
And that was the last minute. There was another one that I saw, which was just absolute limbs. And I love it.
Don't get me wrong. I love it. It's just not when it happens to us.
Hey, listen, it's happened to us.
I remember. Do you remember Torquay in the early 90s? There you go. Charlie's come up with it. Barnsley Barrow, not Burnley Barrow.
Barnsley. What year was the Torquay game, Rob?
That would have been about 89 or 90, because I think Phil Parks was in goal. That would have been one of the games.
We lost 1-0 up there, didn't we?
We did, yes.
Yeah, I remember that. Yes, little man.
Oh, no. It's happening. See you, Logan.
Oh, he's gone.
Well, that means he'll be cup-tied.
He's dancing out the door. Look, absolute fruit, Luke. We can see you.
Which means, you know what I think that means? He ain't going anywhere.
I think he's going to Newcastle, if you ask me.
I suppose he could go there and it wouldn't affect his value because they're out of the cup, aren't they? So the fact that he's cup-tied makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. Logan, be good.
Rob says hello.
Brush your teeth. Wash behind your ears.
What are you doing? Carry on, we're only live, don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, I agree with Hammerhead. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think they're gonna let his contract wind down, and that'll be on off ski in the summer for nothing. Or let me rephrase that, for no transfer fee.
Is that not embarrassing for United though? In the same way with Divock Origi?
It happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, well listen, thanks to was it John Bosman?
Yeah, Jean-Marc Bosman, yeah. Seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah, it did, and then look what happened. You end up being able to ransom, didn't you, to a certain degree?
And he didn't earn bugger all out of it. Apparently, he hasn't got a pot to piss in now.
No.
And yet, all these sort of footballers can potentially sort of like negotiate multi-million-pound contracts when they walk away from a contract at Club X and go to Club Y.
I'd sue for the use of my name. That'd be the way you get your money back. I'd superly use my name.
Yeah, it's one
It's
way
not
of
been
doing it, I suppose.
trademarked, is it?
Final thoughts before we wrap it up, big man?
Listen, dominant performance yesterday. I thought the players were superb. Vlasic and Bowen, Lanzini, it could have gone to any of those three. Personally, I felt it should have gone to I should have got to Lanzini. It went to Vlasic. I'm not pissed off with that. I'm not saying it's undeserved. I'd say it could have also gone to Bowen. Kidderminster next round, Norwich on Wednesday, Leeds next week. Listen, we're not in a bad place, Rob. Right now, we're not in a bad place. I think we can pick up 3 points even with a weakened side against Norwich.
Yep.
We've shown that with essentially our first team out, we can pick up points against Leeds. So I'm looking forward to doing the previews and the reviews for the next two games. I'm looking forward to 3 wins in a week.
Well, of course, the match preview for the Norwich game we're going to have to do tomorrow night, aren't we?
Yeah, thanks for letting me know that. It's not that I forgot. But
what could possibly go wrong?
I do finish at 6 o'clock. They were on TV this morning, Rob. Tell me about it.
Who was on TV? What, Isla? Yes.
Yeah.
On Sky Sports News.
And on...
I thought she did a fantastic job.
Was it BBC? Or...
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
They were on TV talking about is it the rap song that's at number 1.
Yes. Yeah, brilliant. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, they were talking
massive,
about that today. Yeah, massive, yeah. I have to say I've got my copy. I love it.
Brilliant. Well, guys, those of you watching, you know the crack with young Isla. Long-time viewers of the channel won't need to know that we are full of square behind this campaign, and we hope you are too. Please, the information on that banner, you can copy and paste it. You will find it in the description section below on YouTube and on Facebook, and you can copy and paste it and put it on all your socials. Tell your friends, tell your family, and even people you don't really like. Let them know there's a young girl out there that is in a dire situation, as I'm sure you guys all know. Her family need help. She needs help. Let's try and come together as the football family and try and help this family out. No donation is too small, but give as generously as you can. You know it makes sense. And as always, we thank you very much indeed for your support and attention. So that's us done. And yes, indeed. Oh, hang on.
You are pressing it at the same time.
Great minds. Great minds.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, as I say, much love to Weiler, and yep, cheers, Hammerhead. Do appreciate the good words, and hopefully we've kept you entertained for a little bit, guys. Before I hit the end credits and we bugger off, Duke, what do you want to say?
Well, you know what? I believe we're massive everywhere we go.
I think so. Do you want to sing it?
No.
Okay. Me neither.
West Ham are massive everywhere we go. Sing along.
No.
Just me then. All right,
I'm just going to do the usual. Come on, you Irons.